Some are valid. Some about being concerned about humanitarian things. I understand that. But let's just have a starting point. Can we all agree that if there's somebody here illegally and we know about them and they're associated with terrorism, or they have already on the list for committing violent crimes, that we shouldn't, that we can,
or our gang members.
Our gang members,
right?
And the reason that question is important is because when you see many times of these illegal immigrants that have been arrested, they have a long list of things that they have committed, yet they're still here.
Right.
So my point is, can we find a common ground to take this group of people and send them back where they go? I'd like to know President Joe Biden's answer to that.
Yeah.
Common ground, right? You'd think.
You'd think that they would say, and I'm guessing you'd get a slippery answer.
Yeah, probably so. With some caveats.
Yeah, some caveats, and of course we're doing our best to. But when the real problem is, well, this is you've opened the floodgates.
That's right.
I just did a little, pulled out my little calculator on my phone.
Sure.
Let's say we conservatively estimated that only 3 million people have come across the border illegally since Joe Biden. And that's very conservative.
Very,
very conservative. In 3.5 years, 3 million people. If only 1% of those were terrorists, that's 30,000 terrorists. That's stunning.
Yeah.
30,000 people who are terrorists in this country working together could bring this country to its knees.
Yes.
In terms
Absolutely.
of poisoning water supply, blowing up malls, blowing up bridges, attacks at Super Bowl games or playoff games, wherever people are congregated. It could be, power grid could devastate this country.
Yeah.
Just 1% of a very conservative.
Well, you think of 9/11, fewer than 10.
Right.
Look what they did. Fewer than 10 terrorists.
Yep.
And these people are coming here trained to do this kind of thing.
What was it, 15,000? How many? 12,000 to 15,000 Chinese, young Chinese nationals, men.
Yes.
In this country illegally.
And they're showing up, they're spending thousands of dollars, or they're being given thousands of dollars to buy airplane tickets to Mexico City.
Yeah.
And then they're getting on buses to go up to the border.
Yep.
And they have, GPS to take them to that hole in the fence in San Diego.
Right.
And they're just flowing in there. And now, the latest story is when they're arriving in San Diego, this was just reported about 4 days ago. They get to San Diego, these young, mostly Chinese young men, and they're let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the question they're being asked. Where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento, Chicago, New York, wherever the case. Where do you want to go? God bless you, go. This is what's happening. Listen, there is a day of reckoning coming.
It is.
A day of reckoning coming. And I'm talking about the election in November.
Yeah.
The question is going to be, are the American people going to act with the kind of concerns that we express, that many express? In fact, last night in Nevada, retired Army Captain Sam Brown won the Republican Senate primary there. And, the state of Nevada, every state now is a border state, as they say. One of the first things out of his mouth in winning that victory was our border and how concerned he is. Cut number one.
Our country has been under assault from within and from without. The crisis on the border is totally created by Joe Biden.
Yeah, and he's right. And that's, the American people are going to have to decide, Joe Biden and the Democrats are out there trying to say it's Republicans' fault because they wouldn't sign a piece of legislation. No. Joe Biden on day one took away all the protections that former President Trump had put in place. And he alone and his sidekick, Homeland Security, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, there I said it for the day.
Yeah.
In my mind, both men should go to prison for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Now, here we are throwing people in prison for 10 years for breaking a window at the Capitol on January the 6th. Not condoning that behavior. But look what they're doing to those individuals. Yet we have people responsible for an invasion of this country, and they're out there defending it.
Well, I think that it has been the work of FBI agents, like in this case with these 8 who have been picked up, that it probably stopped some of these kinds of terrorist attacks. But you know when you just get a bad feeling, Wesley, and you just go, I just have a bad feeling about this. I just cannot see. These people hate America. I'm talking about these terrorists.
Yes.
They hate America.
Death to America.
Yeah, death to America. These people aren't going to have an attack of conscience when they get here. Mm-hmm. They're not going to say, listen, I love my Starbucks in the morning and then running next door and getting Dunkin' Donuts. I think I'm just going to live it up here in America. No, they hate this country. You cannot rely upon them having second thoughts. The proper response to people who hate us is at least not letting them in the front door.
Yeah.
And that's what the Biden administration's done.
Do we have time, or is this a good transition to the story that we discussed this morning about the FBI security clearance?
Yeah, I've got that right in front of me.
Oh, perfect.
Some of the questions being asked, FBI agents have to update their security clearance. Mm-hmm. Here's an example of some of the questions being asked of these people now.
There were already FBI agents.
They're already FBI, but every few years
Right.
they have to update their security clearance. Do you support Trump? Do you have skepticism over the COVID vaccine? Have you been to a gun rights event? These are questions, according to one FBI agent, he's been with the FBI for 12 years, updating his security clearance. These are the types of questions being asked. It leads one to believe that charges of weaponization of our justice system just may be true.
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously that's why those questions are being asked. Those questions are being asked because they are weeding out people who believe those things,
Yes.
who support Trump, who have questions about COVID, who support gun rights. Those are people who, if not released outright from the FBI, are certainly going to be put on the no fast track, in terms of getting
moving
promotion.
up, promotion.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, just for a remind our audience here, I'm not sure exactly what we all think about when we think about FBI working for the FBI, but it's more than 15 people. It's more than 20 people. It's around 35,000 people work for the FBI. So you will have a group that large, a variation of people's political views,
right,
religious views, and all those types of things. And to show that they are taking so much so that they're asking these types of questions to weed out, to get 35,000 people with the same ideology they have versus being more concerned about their ability to carry out their task and to protect the country is pretty stunning.
Hey,
So
listen, it's a legitimate question to ask. Is the FBI preparing to remove from its ranks
Mhm.
all Republicans, all people who support the Second Amendment,
Mhm.
people who who refuse to accept everything that is said by the World Health Organization regarding pandemics?
Yeah.
What happens to the country if you have a monolithic FBI filled with left-wingers?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
I'm not saying that they go rogue, but it seems to me that the intention of those who are asking these kind of questions, that's what they want.
Yes.
They want a small army of law enforcement officials who toe the progressive line. I use air quotes for progressive. That's scary stuff, man.
Well, you add to that the evidence that we have seen of the Justice Department sending agents into school board meetings.
Yeah.
Parents being upset about transgender washrooms
Mhm.
and all of that sort of thing. About FBI agents surrounding the home of a pro-life protester with weapons drawn.
Yep.
I don't remember any Black Lives Matter people having their houses surrounded
Right.
with FBI agents with weapons like that. You add all of this up. The American people may be excused for what happened in 2020, but now you've got almost 4 years of evidence
Right.
of the political agenda of this current administration. So, folks, there it is. Elections coming. Elections have consequences. What you going to do about it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, folks. When we come back, Alex McFarland will join us. I know our listeners love Alex. We love him too. And he'll be on. We're going to be talking about some of the unbelievable things that are being said about the Jewish people. Folks, you're going to want to hear this, and Alex is going to respond to what at least one person said. I think it's kind of an ideology that's infected the pro-Hamas wing on college campuses. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildman.
And he went and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that what was spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled. He shall be called a Nazarene. Nazareth isn't mentioned in the Old Testament. We infer from this that not much importance was given to the town. In fact, we're led to believe that the town was even scorned by many, for was it not Nathanael who asked, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" The town was not located on any of the main thoroughfares. It lay slightly back out of the mainstream of traffic. The city owes its importance, of course, to the fact that it was the home of the Galilean carpenter. In a very real way, he put the town on the map. Mention of the town is made some 28 times in the New Testament, and each time it is in connection with Jesus. The town lay in a valley surrounded by hills which rise like amphitheaters. It is located in Lower Galilee. Thus, the one who came from Nazareth has often been known simply as the Galilean. The little city is located about 80 miles to the north of Jerusalem. To the west is the beautiful Mediterranean Sea, approximately 20 miles away. To the northeast is the breathtaking Sea of Galilee.